Hey everyone, welcome back. So today we are going to discuss another LeetCode problem statement, that is container with most water. So here we have given integer array height and we just have to find two lines, from where we can hold most water. So these two lines will treat as a container and we just have to figure it out like maximum how much water we can store. So in this example, you can see where we have given an array and the output is coming as 49. So we will discuss about it in depth. So let me quickly jump to the board and we will discuss about it. The first thing which comes in our mind is brute force. In brute force, what will happen? You just have to consider the first element, and this one you will consider it as the length. And similarly, you will find the other lines and you just have to calculate the width. So width will be 1 minus 0, 2 minus 0, 3 minus 0, 4 minus 0. Likewise, you just have to calculate and you just have to figure it out like, maximum how much water you can store over here. Once you are done with this one, you just have to increment the value, and again you have to calculate the area by doing calculation like length into breadth. The problem with this approach is if you are using, if you are having heavy too large array, in that case what will happen, like it will be too slow and the time complexity for brute force approach will be big O of n square, because one by one you have to calculate, you have to check for each and every area, and then you have to figure it out like which one is the maximum area. So this approach we are not going to use. We will be using optimal approach, that is two pointer. So in two pointer approach, what we are going to do is we are going to create first pointer as a left, and this will initialize from the 0th index. Another pointer will be right and this will initialize from the last index. In this case, it will be 8. If you are standing at this position, this is nothing but your left and this is your right. So what you have to do, you just have to consider the minimum length. So the minimum length is 1. Why? Because if you will try to add some extra water above this, right, so what will happen, it will spill out. So we are going to consider this one minimum. Okay, so the first thing what we have to do, we just have to consider the minimum of length between the left pointer and right pointer, whichever is minimum, that we have to consider from this height array. After getting that, what you have to do, you just have to calculate the width. So width will be left pointer minus right pointer. So this will give you width. We need maximum area also, right? So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create one like max area. This is a variable. Initially, this will be 0. Now, if you are standing at this position, if you will try to pour, then what will happen? You just have to consider the minimum of these two. So it will be 1 and 7. So which one is minimum? 1. So what will be the value? This will be length will be 1. And what is the width? Width will be 8 minus 0, that is 8. In this case, the area which we are getting is 8. So what will happen? We just have to update the max area with 8 value. In the very next step, what will happen, we just have to check whichever is smaller, that we have to move. Why we are moving the smaller one? Because if we will move the larger one, right, then we will not able to hold maximum water. In order to hold the maximum water, we just have to move the smaller one. So in this case, this is the smaller one. So what we will do, we will just move this one. Now again we will calculate the area. So this is what, 8, and this is 7. So what we have to do, we just have to consider the minimum one. So minimum one is 7. So this is your length, that is 7. Now you need width. Width will be 8 minus 1, that is 7. So 7 you are getting, so this is 49. So what you have to do, you just have to update this value in your max area. So instead of 8, it will be 49 now. Okay, perfect. Now what you have to do, you just have to figure it out like which one is the smaller one. Now in this case, this one is the smaller one. So what you have to do, you just have to decrement the value of r. So r will come at this position. Now again you have to calculate the area. So area will be the minimum whatever we have. In this case, this is the minimum, that is 3. And what you have to do, you just have to figure it out the width. So it will be 3 into 7 minus 2, that is 5. So it will be 15. So again you have to check whether this 15 is greater than max area. No, it's not. So we don't have to do anything, and simply again we have to figure it out like which one is the minimum one. So this one is minimum one, so again we have to decrement the value of r. So likewise we have to do for each and every, and at the end we just have to return the maximum area. So let me quickly jump to the LeetCode compiler and we'll write the code for this same. Okay, as we discussed, the first thing which we need is left pointer. Left pointer will initialize from 0, and the right pointer will initialize from the last index. So that will be height dot length minus 1. Also, we have discussed we need one variable called max area, which we are going to initialize with 0 initially. This will continue until the left is less than right. In the very next step, we just have to calculate the area. How we will calculate the area? That will be, we just discussed, right? Either the minimum of both one, either left or right. The minimum one we just have to consider. So minimum of what? Minimum of height of array. So either left or height of right, whichever is minimum, that we will consider as the length. And again we just have to calculate the width. So for width, what we do? Right minus left. Okay. And at the end, what we have to do? We just have to check, like we just have to update this max area. In order to update this max area, we have to consider either max area or area, whichever is greater, that we will consider. So I'm using math.max, and here I'm using max area as well as area. Now again, now what we have to check? We have to increment and decrement the value of left. So based on what? Based on whichever is smaller, that will increment as well as decrement. So here we will see if height of left, if it is less than height of right. So in this case, what we will do? Simply we will increment the value of left, or else what we will do? Simply we will decrement the value of right. And at the end, what we have to do? Simple, nothing else. You just have to return the max area. So this is what we have to do. Let me execute this code and we'll see whether it's working properly or not. Okay, so both the test cases accepted. So let me submit this solution. Yes, so all 65 test cases passed successfully, and this is the approach we have to follow in order to solve this problem statement. If you like the video, do subscribe the channel. Thank you for watching. Enjoy your day.